Right. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2.
That's the craziest thing.
So we could have bragging rights.
I mean, that's insane.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Glover. Cindy has the night off. We're learning more about the double homicide at Highland Memorial Gardens today. Family members have confirmed the two victims are 20-year-old Thomas Holder and 17-year-old Rayshawn Underwood. Police have not identified the men yet. They say both men were found dead at the cemetery this morning, both with gunshot wounds. Channel 3's Tanisha Cordell has more on how the community is reacting.
Family and friends of the victims started gathering outside of the cemetery just a few hours after police arrived.
A friend of mine told me at first, and then my wife said, "What's going on out here?"
Bruce Holloway has lived off Shepherd Road for 62 years. He says this is the first time something like this has ever happened in his neighborhood.
The cemetery is supposed to be a peaceful place. It's real quiet, but something like that goes on in years. It's hard to believe.
Chattanooga police spent nearly 7 hours investigating the double homicide at Highland Memorial Gardens near Holloway's home. Around 9:45 a.m., former city councilman Manny Rico found the two bodies near the wood line at the cemetery and called 911. Investigators marked off the cemetery and surrounding properties. Police say the crime scene is so large, 25 Chattanooga Police Academy cadets and federal agents were called in to help search for evidence.
It doesn't shock me. It just, people do anything, but I just wonder why would they do that? When something like that happen out here, it usually be somebody from out of the community.
Some say the cemetery needs to consider options to keep the ground safe, but some question whether it will make a difference.
It should be locked up and all that, but you can't, because somebody's gonna always, do something anyway.
Police have not yet released any information about any possible suspects. They are asking anyone with information to call a new tip hotline. The number is there on your screen. A spokesperson for CPD says the hotline was recently created by the homicide investigators working this case. All callers will remain anonymous. In the studio, Tanisha Cordell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Channel 3 archives show 20-year-old Thomas Holder pleaded guilty in Hamilton County Court in 2016 for providing an illegal gun to a juvenile who shot himself in the face while taking a picture. We're following this story closely. See the latest news on our website, WRCBTV.com. One lane of I-59 North has been reopened after an overturned truck shut the interstate down for quite some time this evening. According to Trenton-Dade County Fire's Facebook page, the truck driver was taken out of the truck and transported to the hospital. Details surrounding the cause of this crash have not been released. Stay with Channel 3 as we learn more. The driver of the Puckett ambulance involved in last week's deadly accident in Rome, Georgia, will be booked in jail tomorrow. Police there in Rome say 21-year-old Kristen Keys faces second-degree vehicular homicide charges. She also faces a charge of failure to maintain a single lane. A Puckett spokesperson, that's the ambulance company, says Keys and the other paramedic involved in the accident are on medical leave. Her attorney says she's 5 weeks pregnant. We'll keep you updated on the booking process tomorrow. A Tennessee man who drove his truck into a crowd, killing a man and injuring several others, has been sentenced to 12 years in prison. Lee Cromwell was convicted this past February of 1 count of vehicular homicide and 8 counts of aggravated assault. Authorities say he backed his truck into a crowd which had gathered at a park in Clinton, Tennessee to watch fireworks, this on the 4th of July in 2015. 37-year-old James Robinson of Knoxville was killed while moving his daughter to safety. Witnesses say Cromwell ignored their pleas to stop. He's maintained his innocence, saying he had a defective throttle. The inmates accused of killing 2 corrections officers and sparking a massive manhunt will be in a Georgia courtroom tomorrow. Ricky Dubose and Donnie Rowe are scheduled to appear at the Putnam County Courthouse at 8:30 in the morning. On June 13th, the 2 inmates escaped after killing 2 correctional officers while on a transport bus. The 2 were captured 2 days later in Rutherford County, Tennessee. On Friday, in a Tennessee courtroom, the 2 waived their extradition back to Georgia. Once there, they'll face new charges related to the deaths of the corrections officers. One of the prison guards killed was laid to rest today. Family, friends, and law enforcement officers gathered to honor the memory of 42-year-old Christopher Monica. The Milledgeville First United Methodist Church in Central Georgia was packed to capacity for the funeral today of Sergeant Christopher Monica. He was remembered as a protector and a family man. He leaves behind a wife, 2 daughters, and grandchildren too. Curtis Bilyeu's funeral was held Saturday at a high school near McIntyre. What's known as the most expensive House race in U.S. history is now over. Republican Karen Handel will now hold the seat of Georgia's 6th congressional district. That's parts of Cobb, Fulton, and DeKalb counties, including Atlanta's northern suburbs. The campaign has been hard fought. More than $40 million were spent in the election. Handel has raised more than $4 million for her candidacy. Democratic opponent John Ossoff pulled in more than $23 million. The Republican Party has held the seat since 1979. Handel's 55, a former Georgia Secretary of State. She succeeds Republican Tom Price, who resigned the seat to join President Donald Trump's administration, Health and Human Services Secretary. Now let's head over to the Storm Alert Center, see what Paul Barris has to say. That's a mess behind me there on the radar. Paul, what about that?
That's all way down to the south. There's really nothing around here now. It's all along the Gulf Coast. There was a lot of rain down through the Atlanta area, but it's really faded. Anywhere between 2 to 7 inches of rain fell over the Atlanta area. Some of the heaviest north of the city, about 2 to 5 inches further south, up to 7 inches of rain. This is Vipercast, our very own computer model, showing tomorrow morning maybe some showers into the Blue Ridge. Lots of clouds, though, out there by noon, so it's going to be a cloudy day for most of the day. Could have a little peak of sunshine here and there. By 7 o'clock tomorrow night, really not much, just lots of clouds. But into the overnight, we'll see some showers starting to move out of the south, and that will continue right into Thursday at around noon. Thursday into the afternoon, this is around 5, a southerly flow of air bringing a lot of moisture in, and by Friday at 8 o'clock, a little break in the rain, but more rain Friday afternoon, Friday night. We're thinking now about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain. Now, we do have Tropical Storm Cindy down in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll tell you where it's going and how it could affect our weather. That's all coming up on my 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
Paul, thanks very much. We'll check back in with you. In Polk County, Georgia, some inmates there are credited with saving the life of a corrections officer. This was last week. The 6 inmates were cutting grass at a local cemetery. As they were working, the guard watching over them fell ill and passed out. Instead of taking advantage of the situation, the inmates removed the guard's gun holster and bulletproof vest to help him breathe. Then they called 911 for help.
He had his face down, he was breathing a little hard or whatever, and so we went over there and we turned him over and made sure he was okay.
They really stepped up in a time of crisis and showed that they care about my officers.
That officer is expected to be okay. As for the inmates, they say they're glad they did the right thing. Coming up at Eyewitness News at 11, 3 major European cities find themselves in crosshairs of people bent on causing harm and destruction. The latest on these attacks when we return.
Hey everybody, it's Leslie with the TFP, and today we take you on a tour of one of the world's only Game of Thrones, the actual show on HBO, manufacturers, and it's a shop here in Red Bank. Who knew? We have that for you on our Facebook, Chattanooga Times Free Press, and timesfreepress.com.
Now we look overseas, where for a third straight day, Europe has been jarred amid a rash of assaults and terror attacks. In Brussels this evening, an explosion rattled the city's central train station where soldiers shot an apparent bomber. No civilian injuries or deaths have been reported there. This, of course, follows attacks in both Paris and London in recent days. NBC's Keir Simmons has late details.
Captured on camera, what appears a burst of flames many feet high inside Brussels Central Rail Station. Reports of an explosion and gunfire. A possible suicide bomber shot, neutralized, the local prosecutor said. Witnesses describing a man with a bag in a cart, then fire and screams. He was screaming all sorts of things, this man says. At one point, he screamed out Allah Akbar, Arabic for God is great. Police in Europe's capital city say the situation is under control tonight. Brussels, the scene of a deadly ISIS attack last year, in which 32 were killed by multiple explosions at the airport and a metro line. This year, a wave of terror across Europe. Among the attacks, in Manchester, a bomb at an Ariana Grande concert. In the UK's capital, a van and knife attack on London Bridge. In Paris, a man attacking a police officer with a hammer in front of Notre Dame. Then, Sunday night in London, a van mounting a sidewalk and mowing down Muslims leaving a prayer service.
It's not just one or two copycats. It is this sense that if one individual can do it, then others can as well, and that builds upon itself.
Europe tense and on high alert again tonight, seemingly an unrelenting target. Keir Simmons, NBC News, London.
In West Virginia, a man broke into a home, then apparently decided to stay. Homeowner Jeffrey Holbrook returned to what he thought was just a break-in, but then he began to record the damage and he realized he was not alone. There was a stranger sleeping in his bed. Holbrook called for help. Putnam County Sheriff's deputies were happy to do that. They identified the man as Stacy Foster, who's heard on this video saying he has no idea how he wound up in Holbrook's bed. Foster lives about 15 miles away there in West Virginia. He faces charges for burglary and destruction of property. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 11, the solar eclipse is just 2 months away. We'll show you what one Tennessee college is doing to help students study the eclipse.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
Researchers from Pellissippi State Community College in Knoxville are working to get a unique perspective on the coming solar eclipse. Reporter Michael Crow with the NBC affiliate in Knoxville shows us how.
On August 21st, millions of Americans will look up, taking in the total solar eclipse.
All right.
But Seth Giles and Josh Harbin weren't happy with an eye to the sky. They're putting an eye in it.
We're tracking a helium balloon, a weather balloon.
That balloon will climb to 100,000 feet, carrying cameras to track the eclipse.
You won't have as much atmospheric interference, you know, up there. It's going to be a real clean shot.
NASA is working with 55 teams across the country to launch these balloons and stream the eclipse live, coast to coast.
This is neat. This wasn't possible even 10 years ago.
And balloons away.
This launch near Crossville was a test flight to shake out any bugs, and there were plenty. They faced issues with the cameras and their software on the ground.
This should be tracking on its own, but we're able to track it manually using a signal indicator on the backside.
Better now than later.
But these images from past flights show what the equipment can do at the freezing cold edge of space, far above any clouds, capturing the curvature of the Earth. During the eclipse, they hope to see the shadow of the moon tracking across the surface.
Oh yeah, it'll be really cool to see that, because that's something you can't see from Earth.
But with the balloon safely on the ground near Oak Ridge,
it's traveled a long way today.
they'll be busy now with preparations for the real deal, working to take in a once-in-a-lifetime event from a rare perspective.
This is basically making the stratosphere open source. Like, you're actually able to view things that are up there. You can say that, in a way, you've been there.
2 more test flights are scheduled before the actual eclipse in August. On that day, the team plans to launch from western South Carolina to avoid the Atlanta airport. From Lenore City, I'm Michael Crow, 10 News.
For everything you need to know about that solar eclipse, NASA will be holding a 2 months to the eclipse press conference tomorrow from 1 to 3:30 in the afternoon. We will provide a live stream of the event at WRCBTV.com. Tropical storm Cindy is expected to make landfall on Thursday near the Texas-Louisiana border. The local American Red Cross volunteers are on call, ready to help. Rainfall amounts of up to 18 inches expected for parts of the Gulf Coast. Highest amounts are in the forecast for Louisiana and southern Mississippi. The Southeast Tennessee chapter of Red Cross has blankets, cots, mats, water, other supplies, all readily available should they be needed.
Well, we have over 100 on-call volunteers that are prepared. We've also set in place with our local chapter and our sectional chapter out of Nashville.
The local Red Cross chapter is urging anyone interested in volunteering, please give them a call. For more information, visit WRCBTV.com. Paul Barris joins us now. Tell us, will we see any of the effects of Tropical Storm Cindy in the next couple of days? I know social media was on fire with a beautiful sunset tonight. Anything to do with what's coming off the tops?
Trying to see a pretty sunset. Here we go. Sunset. And you didn't even know. I don't think you knew this was coming. Yeah. All right. This is from Karen Giles. Just a gorgeous sunset up near Nyota. Beautiful, beautiful sunset. Gorgeous tonight. And we're going to probably not see much sun for tomorrow because all these clouds are moving from the south to the north. A lot of moisture flowing in. The area in red indicates where the tops of the clouds are the highest. Very, very cold tops out there. Center of the storm right now is in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. And we're going to take a look at that. This is the latest from the Hurricane Center. They're predicting it to move in just a little bit to the east, it looks like now, of Houston, and then move right along the Louisiana border as a tropical depression. But as it moves on shore, it should have 45-mile-an-hour winds. So it's not going to be a disaster, but it's going to be a lot of rain across much of the Gulf. And then the thing's going to head off towards the north and move very close to Memphis by about 8 o'clock on Friday. Winds will only be about 25 miles an hour at that time. But we are going to see some moisture with this as the whole system pushes off towards the north. So we'll take a look at that moisture, again, flowing in. This is the Gulf of Mexico. Chattanooga right here, the heaviest rain from New Orleans all the way to Mobile and then out towards Pensacola, and a pretty good line of thunderstorms moving across Indiana and Ohio. Severe weather breaking down finally out in Kansas. Currently it's 75 in the city, 72 in Cleveland, 72 Dalton, Athens already down to 66 where there's a few breaks in the clouds up there, 70 in Dayton, 70 Altamont, 86 and 68 the high and the low for today. And Skywatchers told me 80 south of the city, except for Chatsworth, 90. Dalton and Calhoun hit 85 degrees, while Lafayette and Tryon hit 84. 87 in Cleveland, 85 Soddy Daisy, 86 in Trenton. Ringgold hit 84, while Ooltewah was about 87. 10 Mile also at 87, with Murphy 84, and 87 in Dunlap, at 88 in Pikeville, and 89 out near Jasper. The latest Vipercast, again, is showing this little frontal system to the south. That's going to keep most of the moisture down to the south. We got a slight chance for some showers for tomorrow. Better chance for tomorrow night coming up into early Thursday morning. A real good chance for some rain. That moisture continues to flow our way through Thursday. Could see some breaks in the rain on Friday. Thursday actually looks wetter than Friday. And then on Saturday, another line of showers and thunderstorms starts to move in. And that'll be clearing out of here hopefully by Sunday, according to Vipercast. I think it may linger. The heaviest rain is going to be along the Gulf Coast. They could see over a foot of rain down there. Vipercast has dropped the amounts of rain compared to what we showed you at 6. I still think it's a little too high. A good 2 to 4 inches of rain generally around our area, I think, is a better bet. And that'll be coming up mainly into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tonight, though, 70 with a few more clouds rolling in. Tomorrow, slight chance for a shower south of the city. Most of us are going to be high and dry with highs near 84. Tomorrow night, again, a small chance for a shower south of the city, but by dawn, the chance for rain increases, and 71 for that low. We'll forget the evening out. I should have eliminated that earlier. Thursday, 80 and a 50-50 chance for that rain. And then coming up into Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at a good chance for showers and storms. So get ready for plenty of rain across the Tennessee Valley right through the weekend, and then drying off probably after Monday.
We're getting to the point where we could use a little more, though, aren't we?
Well, you know, everything dries up, and then it gets real wet, and then dries up again. At least it's better than last year. Last year was so boring, and it was just nasty, dry.
And not enjoyable.
No, but the bugs love this. Mosquitoes are going nuts.
Yeah, you don't have to remind me of that.
Okay.
Scratching in the break here. Coming up next in sports, Phil Fulmer is back on campus. Get paid. Plus, free admission at Finley leads to CFC taking free aim at Birmingham's goalie. Stay with us. The other Paul Shaheen, has sports next.
Less than 4 months after not getting the athletic director's job at UT, Phil Fulmer stood in front of a UT podium preaching unity within the entire university, and he did so as a UT staffer. Fulmer was hired today as a special advisor to the university president. He's basically an ambassador at community and athletic events.
Even when everyone is pulling together, it's really hard to be the best. And I had that privilege as the coach at UT for a long time to be around the best. I also know it is impossible to everyone if everyone does not pull together.
The details now. It's technically a part-time job. It pays $100,000 a year. He can work at home or from his new office on campus. It includes a monthly allowance of $2,500 for travel and whatnot, and 8 skybox tickets for all UT football games. He will be there. Fulmer also took some time to talk about not landing the athletic director gig, which eventually went to John Curry.
I have absolutely no animosity for not being named the athletic director. I simply felt compelled to try that position because of my love and passion for the university. It was made clear to me from the very beginning that I did not fit the criteria, and I had good interviews, and everyone heard my thoughts. John Curry had familiarity with UT and fit that criteria. He is certainly working hard, and there's much that he has to do.
Back closer to home, the Chattanooga Mocs landed another local stud. All-State Dalton offensive lineman Dylan Cole committed to UTC today. As a junior, Cole was both All-Region and All-State on the O-line. He enters his senior season as one of the Catamounts' cornerstones on that big O-line. On the big league diamond now, a big night for the Atlanta Braves as they continue to creep back towards relevance. They were eyeing their 4th straight game, first 4-game hot streak rather since April. The Giants were still in town, and Julio Teheran had a gem going into the 8th, up 2-0, and then came this. 2 on for Austin Slater, not known for power, but flashing it here. Opposite field power, 3-run shot to take the lead for San Francisco. Just his 2nd dinger on the season. Teheran goes from a gem to a loss just like that. 6-3, your final score. The Giants win. Back downtown now, the gates to Finley Stadium were open to all tonight. Free admission to CFC's continuation with Birmingham. They were suspended due to bad storms a month ago. Nothing but clear skies and extra beer money tonight because remember, free admission. Chattanooga up 3-0 early 2nd. Birmingham on the attack. The cross eaten up by goalkeeper Pierre Gardin. Other end, a chance from Danny Reynolds. Not a clean strike. It stays 3-0 for now. A few minutes later, here comes another miss hit. But wait for it. Juan Hernandez cleaning it up. A sliding sidekick to make it 4-0 in the 61st minute. CFC wins it 5-0. They're home again on Saturday at 7:15. He's already considered the best soccer player in the state. Why not the country? Macaulay's Drew Viscomi is recently handpicked by USA Today as one of 7 nationwide finalists for the All-USA Boys Soccer Player of the Year. You can vote online right now. We have the link inside the story on our website and inside our app. On the ice, the NHL is moving from Reebok to Adidas uniforms. Here's a look at the Nashville Predators' new digs. Pictures were leaked earlier, but this is the official video from the Nashville Predators. You can see the changes. They are subtle. The new unis aren't as busy as last year's uniforms.
I think that's the nicest way to explain.
You took the words, thoughts right out of my head.
Yes.
That's a nice way of saying they're very plain. Yawn.
But social media tore them apart.
Yeah.
Which is what social media
They
does.
do that.
Paul Barris has your 7-day forecast when we get back.
All right, your planner tomorrow is going to see a lot more clouds, and temperature is probably around 71, 68, 71 or so in the morning, and then only getting into the low to mid 80s for tomorrow at best, and probably by tomorrow night we could see some showers starting to develop. Most of the rain will start off south of the city, then move north, but I think most of it's really going to come in probably after midnight. Real good chance on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe even into Monday with some rain we could easily see over the next few days. Not so much Thursday, but into the weekend, 2 to 4 inches of rain.
Well, Paul, thanks very much. Golden Retriever is making a good name for himself at a Rhode Island funeral home. His name's Buddy, and he works as a therapy dog at the funeral home in Greenville. As a therapy dog, he's specially trained, of course, to comfort any stranger who's grieving or just needs a bit of tender, loving care. Buddy's a natural at giving unconditional love in a place that welcomes any relief. Those who've met Buddy feel he's found a job that suits him best. Many say he just has a way into the hearts of those who need it most. So in these days when the discussion, the argument goes on about whether therapy dogs or animals of any kind are needed on airplanes and things like that, I think we could all agree that Buddy has found a place where he can be appreciated.
It's real.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Buddy, for your hard work. That's it for your news at 11. See you tomorrow.